Hi, as a follow-on to my top 5 buys when it comes to designer fragrances, this one is around the top 5 clone fragrances that I bought in 2024, right? So like I've told you already about the dry patch that I hit early in the year in terms of buying fragrances and me pushing the channel, right? So once I got over that, obviously the clone fragrances are always there, and they've been pushing, right? So 2024 was no different to the previous years when it comes to releases and flankers of inspired by fragrances. So it's been a good year, right? So I've got a lineup of 4 or 5 fragrances here, which I think, based on the fragrances that I bought in 2025, these are the absolute best. I would think the top 5 in terms of fragrances that I've bought when it comes to clone fragrances, right? So at number 5, even though I'm hesitant to put it at number 5, is Cocktail Intense from Fragrance World, right? So if you look at the bottle, if you know these, if you're one of those people that are around these fragrance streets, you would know this is a sort of clone of Angel Share, Killian's Angel Share, right? Not quite, more like a Khamrah, type of fragrance, right? So it is sweet. It's got a bit of cognac. This one, myrrh, cashmere, iris, vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood. Those are the key notes on this one. But this one was one of those ones that really surprised me, because I bought it just as part of a haul of fragrances that I bought. Usually when it comes to clone fragrances, it's usually a haul, right? Usually for the price of 1 or 1.5 fragrance designer fragrances, you can literally get like 4 to 5 fragrances when it comes to the clone type of fragrances, even though the performance and the quality is very close to some of the designer fragrances. Some of the designer fragrances don't even come close to the clone fragrances, right? So this is one of those where I didn't take it seriously. I got it into my collection, but man, I started to really enjoy it, right? So it is a banger, right? So Cocktail Intense, highly recommend at number 5, right? So, and then one thing you'll notice, there's a lot of Lattafas on this list. Well, I'm a sucker for Lattafa fragrances, but yeah, they're a fragrance house that's been really pushing, right? Hopefully in 2025, the others will step up and start, pushing a couple of fragrances out for me as to be interested in. So this one is Assad Zanzibar, right? Following on from the Assad, Lattafa Assad, which was a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir. This one is nothing like Dior Sauvage Elixir, but more a coconutty, aquatic, salty type of fragrance. So notes here: lavender, black pepper, coconut water, iris, and salt. And then the base, vanilla and incense. Yeah, so the mid is coconut water, iris, and salt. The top is lavender, black pepper, right? So it's a coconutty, beach vibey, islandy type of fragrance. I think it's one of those fragrances that I don't think I wear enough. So I think for the holiday season, I should definitely have it in my bag and have it on for most of the time when I'm on the beach side, right? So very nice, great fragrance. Assad Zanzibar at number 4, right? The next fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra, a sub-brand of Lattafa. And this one is based on Tuxedo, YSL's Tuxedo, right? So this is one of the fragrances I bought earlier in the year, and as you can see, I've put quite a dent on it, right? So I've got lots of fragrances. So if a fragrance has a dent similar to this, you must know that, man, I wear it quite a lot, or when it arrived, I was really into it, right? So I bought it earlier in the year 2024. I wore it a lot. Notes here: patchouli, amber, vanilla, spicy notes, floral notes, right? So this is a very patchouli forward type of fragrance. That's how YSL Tuxedo is known, right? So that's at number 3, one of those clone fragrances that I wore a lot, right? And then at the top end, 2 fragrances that I bought towards more of the tail end of the year, right? So at number 2, a fragrance between number 2 and the number 1, I can't really say there's really much of a gap, but yeah, from the house of Lattafa, like I said, Oud For Glory, man, Bade'e Al Oud. So Bade'e Al Oud is a great fragrance. It's a clone of Initio's Oud For Greatness, right? And man, this thing is very close to the real thing, man. It's like, it is too close, man, to think that this cost run about, you can expect to pay 500 to 600 rands for this, versus Oud For Greatness with cost up to the top end. I think the biggest bottle you can get for like 7,000 rand. So think about it, 600 rand versus 7,000. That's like 10% of the price of this for this, right? So, but in terms of how it smells, like, it opens up and it just smells like a fragrance. You don't get that alcoholic perfumers type of scent going. You just get the scent. You've got saffron, nutmeg, lavender at the top. You've got the made of agarwood, the oud, right? So it's an oud type of fragrance, but it's a very soft, acceptable kind of wood. So oud. So I wore a sample of the Oud For Greatness for most of today, and my wife didn't feel offended. I know she doesn't like oud, but I wore Oud For Greatness, a sample today, this morning, for most of today. It's what I have on, and she didn't complain at all to say, you know what, that oud is just too much, right? So this one is one of those very pleasant, acceptable ouds, right? So like I said, the top is saffron, nutmeg, lavender, and then you've got agarwood oud and the patchouli in the mid, and then you've got the oud again in the base, and then patchouli and musk, right? So very much oud, patchouli, saffron, nutmeg, lavender type of fragrance. Now those are the dominating notes, but man, it's a gentlemanly, smooth, very pleasant type of fragrance. The oud is so well done on this thing. It's just amazing. The presentation, the bottle feels heavy, feels like $1 million, right? So Oud For Glory is definitely one of those fragrances, clone fragrances I highly recommend, right? Yeah. And to the top end, the number 1 fragrance I would put on this list, even though I just said number 1 and number 2 are very close, from the house of Khamrah, Qahwa, right? So the Khamrah with the coffee, right? So this one was it's just something special, right? It's the Khamrah, and then with a bit of an edge of the coffee. I'm a coffee lover, so I love the smell of coffee. So yeah, cinnamon, cardamom, ginger at the top, and then you've got the middle of praline, candied fruits, white flowers. So in the mid, you don't have the dates anymore. They've got more candied fruits, and then you've got vanilla, tonka, coffee, benzoin, and musk in the base, right? So it's a great fragrance, guys. So these top 5 are definitely those fragrances that I would say have been my top 5 buys for the year when it comes to clone fragrance. Obviously, I buy a lot of fragrances right here, but for the year, this rounds up the top 10. I did the top 5 designer, and these ones would be the top 5 when it comes to clone fragrances, right? So yeah, on that note, I love these. I highly recommend any of these 3, even all 5 of them. Go for it, guys. Clone fragrances are very affordable. 2,000 rand, you can literally get all of these fragrances that I have on this list, right? Yeah, so with that said, please like, subscribe. Let's keep it going in 2025. Till next time, peace.